Okay, everybody. Welcome to Careful Coffee and Art in the Morning. I won't say why. Just trust me. Anyway, so I'm going to show some of my new books. I showed a little bit of these the other day, but I didn't get into depth with them. And here's my little mini journal, and my very big sketchbook, which I did a 1 minute YouTube video on. So if y'all want to see the initial unboxing of the very big sketchbook, I have a 1 minute video up on my YouTube channel. Dee Dee Willingham. That's y'all can find me anywhere that way. Inkywell.blogspot.com for my blog. I'm Inkwell. Am I Inkwell or Inkwell on Twitter? I can't remember. Let me see. Some places Inkwell, even though I've had that name for 20 years online, it's sometimes comes up that it's taken. So on Twitter, I am Inkwell, Inkiwell, and the same thing on my blog. All right. So anyway, I did a little quick video on that so you can see the unboxing of it. I'm going to show, I've worked in it a little bit, and I'll show you some of the things I'm working on. I'll show you my newest books. I'm not going to re-show my magazines. I got the new Somerset Studio, the new Art Journaler, the new Flow. But I showed you all those last week. And I just showed you briefly this one and this one. I'll show you those a little bit more. And then with my very big sketchbook, I got the new Orly Avenir. I know I'm not pronouncing that right. I have her other two books, and this one's called In My Bones, a Visual Journal. And it's like pages from her journal. And so I'll do a little what I think about that. And then to make my shipping free, I ordered a $3, I think it was $2.98, a little mini traveler sketchbook. So it's just a little, little tiny sketchbook. It's like a little faux moly kind of thing. So, yeah. And it's a 70-pound weight sketch recycled. And so I just added that on because to get my free shipping. All right, so let's see. Oh, I see coffee splashed a few other places. Oh, well. And so good morning, everybody. We got Eileen and Barb and hey, Robin, CB and Dixie and Janet and hey, wee Hootie. Excuse me, guys. Kitty, KP, Art Unit, Miss Peeper. I just love saying that. And thanks again, Miss Peeper, for your lovely gift. And Bridget, Carol, Lisa, and a whole bunch of guests. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I know it's early, and usually we have, a kind of a low-key, just getting out of bed, drinking our coffee kind of crowd. And so, yeah. So let me start with, I'll go ahead and start with the very big sketchbook. I've already got a few things in there. Let me pull this down here for light purposes so the camera has something to focus on, although it's been focusing on this. This is a good focus, so maybe I'll keep this as a focus card. Usually anything bright, colorful, or graphic will hold the camera focus. Oh, and I did, so it's a little crooked. Maybe that's just that. After the Monday morning coffee incident. So when I unboxed it, and I didn't really show the whole sides and everything of it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it's between something like $23 and $28, depending on what kind of an Amazon account you have. But just go in and look for Very Big Sketchbook, and you can see how much it cost just right off the rack. If you have, Prime and different kinds of whatever, it's a little cheaper, I found, for this. I don't know. I don't see that for everything, but anyway, the Very Big Sketchbook, 600 pages. Very thick and it weighs a ton. It's not for carrying. It's not like for taking out to the coffee shop and doing sketches in. This stays on my desk. 600 chances to perfect your artwork, to develop, grow, and experiment. This giant blank book invites you to create the collection of a lifetime. Like an oversized coffee table book, display it in your home or studio, and it's bound to become a conversation piece. Use this voluminous tome as a journal for your daily encounters and travels. Invite your guests to lead a sketch when they come to visit. As the pages slowly fill up, it becomes a historical record of good times shared with family and friends and of how your art develops over time. Okay, it's 75 pound weight. So it's not, it's thicker than printer paper, which is usually what, 60 pound. So, but it is like when I sprayed those sprays on it, it did soak through a little, which I knew it would. But I don't care about that. Okay, so you can see this is how thick the spine is. If y'all have any questions, put them in caps so I can see if y'all are talking to me, because the chat really rolls by around here. Okay, 600 chances to perfect your artwork. Sketching, doodles, notes, multimedia, journaling, history, chronology, and memories. And the ISBN is 824-3575-1504. And it's put out by art-alternatives.com out of California. Okay, so that's there's the little blurb on it, and this comes wrapped around it, and this is a great focus something. So let me keep it here for fun. See how the light just went, woo. Okay. Maybe I turn it the other way. This won't be so much of a glare. I don't know. Okay. Okay. All right. Hey, wee hootie. Anybody else pop in? If I miss saying hi to you, make sure you say hi to the group so we know you're here. All right. The book. Does it say how much it weighs? The actual book. I don't think it says how much it weighs. It says how much the paper weighs, but it doesn't say how much the book weighs. But it feels like about the same as a gallon of milk. What's that, 5 pounds? I don't know. So it is very thick. It's about twice as thick as your average sketchbook. It's also wider. I think I think it's on here somewhere. Let me just get a ruler. Use a squeaky chair, guys. I'm still using Hubster's office chair. All right, let me find the side to use here on my clear ruler. All right, so it is that 11? Yeah, 11 by just shy of, wait a minute. Hang on, guys. I have a see-through ruler, and I got to make sure I get the right side here. Okay, here we go. All right, it is it's almost 13 tall. Just shy of 13 tall, and 11 and 11. So it's 11 by 13, basically. 11 by 13. 4 pounds, Carol, thank you. I knew it was close. I was close, Carol. Give or take a pound. Carol says that a gallon of milk is 4 pounds. Well, that's about what it feels like. Feels like about 4 pounds, although I haven't weighed it. So it's 11 by 13. And, of course, the pages are just a little tiny bit, just a hair shorter for the pages. Okay. Oh, it's 8.6 pounds. Okay. See, now you're going to confuse us all, Carol. I don't think this is 8 pounds. It feels like about 4 or 5. I don't know. All right. So when I open it, I'll have to have something here for the thing to focus on, because, cameras do not like white, and this is going to be very white. So when I opened it up, I went to the second page, and I just sprayed it on camera, and I put fear not on there to show everybody not to be afraid to just fling something on your first page. So on this side, I just put my blog, and I put my name over here with my Lisa pen. Let me show you my Lisa parallel pen. So I just put my name there and my blog on that side. And I don't know, I thought I'd put something about, there's a quote by, I think it's Dr. Seuss, about traveling and we'll go far. Something like that. I can't remember it right off. I want to look it up. The places we go, and how far I know one of y'all probably know what I'm talking about. There's a Dr. Seuss quote that says that, and I'll probably put that on here. And I splattered some white paint on it, and it kind of soaked in, kind of looked like, like stars. So that's kind of what I wanted it to be. So there's my first page in my very big sketchbook. Okay, sip of coffee. Then I told y'all that I wanted to draw some of the faces out of my big Leonardo book. I got this book at Barnes & Noble the end of December when we went up there to visit the kids at Barnes & Noble, and it was on sale for $14.95, and it's a big Mama Jamba. Y'all know I love Leonardo. I love Mona Lisa is my muse. I have her hanging up right there, not the original. I printed Mona Lisa hanging up right there, and she's my muse. And I don't know if I know most of y'all have heard the story about Mona, but anyway. So what I like about this book is not only does it have like everything in here he's ever done. I think I haven't really double checked to make sure every single thing in his history is in here, but it has close-ups. This is what I liked about the book. Okay, that's Mona Lisa's hands right there. This is why I bought the book. It's for these kind of design, these close-ups of the prints, of the paintings. Now, not every single thing is like that, but all his major paintings, they do that. You see? So I thought it would be fun to practice color pencil, painting, just whatever. It would be fun to practice in my big sketchbook. When I bought this, I knew that was coming. These big faces in that book. So I've drawn, let me see if I can find the one here. I'm working on one, which here, this one, but not that close. a little bigger than this, but it's not quite this big. So here, let me show you over here now. Here's where I'm working on it. So, and yes, the ink came through. I'll probably do some flowers or something over here. Just, chill. Fear not. So here's what I'm working on in colored pencil of that face. And it's a little dark. I've not blended it out or anything like that, but I just kind of wanted you to see where I am with that. Kind of some of the stuff I'm working in this book. It's going to be like just a real literal sketchbook. It's just going to be all kinds of stuff. It's not going to be like my collage mixed media Diane Reevely book. It's not going to be like my little Fobonici where I'm just putting, little and I don't even really call it a diary. It's just whatever happens, like in January, I'll just throw in there, that kind of stuff. I'm not a diarist where I write down every single thing that happens to me during the day. I tried that one year, October. I was ready for the year to be over because of that. Anyway, but it's not, this is just to throw stuff in. I know I showed y'all before how, and I'm just kind of talk about different calendars and diary and journals and things that you can do. All right, so let me show you here. I already took the pages out, and I will re-show. Oops, hang on, guys. Things are flying this morning. So this is the book that I've used the last 2 or 3 years for and it's not showing up. There we go. It's the Tim Holtz stamp holder for acrylic stamps. And basically it's just like a little 3-ring binder. I got some little leftover stuff still sticking in here. But every year I would buy a new 3-ring calendar set. Like at Michael's by Recollections, or I don't even know if a Heidi Swap. I forget who's made all the different little calendar inserts. And even if I buy the calendar inserts, and if I don't like the way if I like the way the calendar inserts look, I will buy them, even if I know they're not going to fit this exact punch. What I usually do is I will take a sheet that fits in here to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and buy something that fits if I like it. If I don't like it and it's still this size, but the holes are not the same as this, I'll just repunch my holes. And I've done that, I think, 2 years. Because it doesn't bother me. I have a screw punch thing. It takes me 5 minutes to punch through that many pages. All right. So I haven't got me a replacement one for this. I'll show you what. Here's what last year's. What I do then is at the end of the year, everything that's in there. Let me. Oh. Everything that's in there for the year. Some of my gift card things fell out there. Okay. This is everything that happened to me last year that I saved. Now, it's not a fill out, January 1st I did that, January 2nd I did this. It's not that kind of it's not that kind of calendar. It has all the months and it has a sheet a week. And if I go to Denise's, all right, I went to Denise's from here to here and we did so and so. And that's but I've shown y'all some of my calendar pages and there'll be a whole 2 weeks with nothing written on it. But what I do with this kind of system is if I go to the museum that week and I have a little brochure or something from the museum, I just throw it in there. I don't punch holes. Sometimes I'll tack it down. If I have a picture, good picture of me and the kids or something like that, I will glue it on that week. Okay? It is just color pencil, Carol, so far. I might add some white paint to it, but the Leonardo drawing that I showed you in the big sketchbook is all color pencil. Prismacolor color pencil. And I will probably add white, like some highlights in the eyes and stuff like that with white acrylic paint, but I haven't done that yet. So this is how I have kept the last couple, 2-3 years in my Tim Holtz little book. Okay, this year I said, well, I'm going to do something different. And let me stick this back on my shelf. And then at the end of the year, I take out all the pages, and a lot of it's loose. It's not in the ring, it's just thrown in there. I take out all those pages and I wrap them with a couple rubber bands and they go in my art journal shelf. But I love this, so I'm going to have to find another purpose for it. I just got all kinds of little things left over. Some stamps, and just, here's the pen I used, a couple of these blank sheets that are left after I took everything out. And it holds, it's a good, I'd say 1.5 inch D-ring binder. And so it holds a lot. It was meant to hold stamps, acrylic stamps, and it's got a zipper on it. But what I like about it, it lies perfectly flat. That's what I like about it. So instead of doing that this year, that's when I thought I would just try to use the Faux Benici, this. And all it is a grid. I just had this came off of a set of towels or something. Headbands are the best thing. If you go to Walmart, Target, whatever, into the hair section and get the hair bands, the stretchy elastic hair bands, those are the best thing for around journals. This one's smaller and it just fit perfectly around this little, and all this is, it's a grid, and it's, it's kind of cheap, it's cheap kind of paper. Oh, my little robot fell out of there. It's cheap paper, and I don't care, about that. It's just a place for me to throw in the daily, weekly fodder of whatever I want to keep, receipts. Now, I do realize that because my other years get this big, this may not work for a whole year. I don't know. But right now, what I did is I made me a January page and I just did the little things. So this is just where I keep the little things. I don't keep, although I did make a regular 12-month 4-week calendar for birthdays. That's all that's for. This is not to keep track of what I do those weeks. This is just for all my birthdays. So I have pink for family, and I have teal for all of my friends that live in the box. So I have everybody's birthday, and I hand drew all the weeks, all the months right there, and just to keep the birthdays. So then I just have, this is a January, and then I have over here just anything I want to just throw in there. Okay, I might glue something, but this is going to be for little things. So I just sat and doodled on there. I cut out January on the my Cameo Her Majesty Camille. And then I put a piece of Scotch tape over it to make sure that, because I'm going to be flipping back to all the months. So any place I put a month, I put a piece of Scotch tape right over the lettering. And I just colored them with my Neo colors, a little watercolor on them. So that's all I'm going to do as far as my calendar. Okay, because if I have anything, like if we go anywhere, I have any kind of appointments, it goes on the calendar that hangs on the refrigerator in the kitchen. That's where I keep anything that I need to know what's, we got to do something. Mom and Ken are visiting. Boo's got a cheer competition. That all goes on the calendar that I can see every day. If I stick that kind of stuff in a book, I will miss Boo's cheer competitions. So that's what this is for. It's just to throw in the little everyday kind of stuff. And I just stuck a pin in there so it's kind of ready to go. All right, so that's my system. All right. Sip of coffee here. So I'm just going to, and she's got some little speckles on here from this paint left over. And like I said, I'm going to go in there with some white highlights and maybe a little bit of white paint. And I'm also going to finish like with my color pencil here. Let me grab a flesh. I think that's too dark. Let me let me sharpen this. So I'm going to go in here and not right now because I got some other things to show y'all, but I'm going to blend this out with my color pencils, and then there's my white, and just and play. This is just literally a sketchbook. Okay, this is what I truly call a sketchbook, where it's just you want to just play out with some ideas, test out some colors, see what flesh tones match to me, the painting or anything like that. So I'll hold it up close so maybe you can see. I don't have the autofocus on me. You see? It's just colored pencil, sketchy, color pencil, color testing. And I realized how much, there's usually a lot of gray or blue in people's eye, the whites of their eyes anyway, but when I got real close up to the Leonardo painting, you could see how it's almost like he was trying to draw the vein or paint the veins in her eyes. Let me show you the picture again out of the book. Get it to focus here. See if I can flip to it right quick. Okay, so there's a kind of far away picture, and here's a close up. Oh, there's her mouth. There's the eyes. If you can see, look how much. See how white. Look, let me put a white pencil up. You can see how non-white the whites of her eyes are. Look. See. So when you look at something like this, always be looking for. Always be looking for. Always be looking for what colors are really there. That's when it comes to drawing and painting what's really there, not what you think you see, but what is really there. So if you really, really looked at that, you could see there's no white. There's no pure white in there. Her eyelids are lighter than the whites of her eyes. Okay. All right, so anyway, so that's what I'm doing here. I'll show you a little more in that Leonardo book here shortly. All right, let me move my little robot. He fell out of that little... Okay. So some other things that I wanted to have something else in here to show you what other kind of things I'm going to draw in here. So last night, while I was just sitting around... I like to be doing something. I'm not a knitter or a crocheter, although I have crocheted some holocalas in my day. But I like to, always be doing, having something going, drawing or something. It does look like veins, doesn't it, Eileen? Uh, a log cabin house. I don't know if y'all saw this. I just saw somebody talking about a log cabin house. I don't know if someone's building something, but let me go back again in case y'all weren't here last week. Show y'all what mom's husband, after dad passed away and his Ken's wife passed away. I think they got married I think they were in their 70s when they got married, Mom and Ken. Anyway, he can make anything out of plastic canvas. And he made a frontier town. This is why I saw someone's talking about Lincoln's house in Lincoln. And I thought of Lincoln Logs, and that made me think of the frontier town that Ken made for his great grandson out of plastic canvas and yarn. Well, when I saw the whole frontier town, um, he had this one piece. I said, please make me just that one piece. It is so cool. So he made me the outhouse. So it's all out of plastic canvas. The door opens, and I made the little roll of toilet paper. I put a little roll of toilet paper on a little dowel just to set in there. But let's see, the light's not wanting to go in there. But there's a little toilet and a little lid in there. See, there we go. Look, it's all plastic canvas. I know. So he made this out of plastic canvas and like a whip stitch, cross stitch. I'm sure there's different stitches in there and there's names for them, but I don't remember. It's been a long time since I did any needlework. So anyway, get the camera light to focus back again. So it's just so cool. Okay, it's got a little, there it goes. The light is kind of coming and going because of the white paper. So anyway, and then I just made a little roll there just to kind of sit right next to it and kind of. So Ken made that. I showed it last week on a stream too, but I just had to show it again since somebody said something about Lincoln. I thought of Lincoln Logs and Lincoln. All right, so back to. Yes, I know somebody said that Sears catalogs to go in there. I know, right, Eileen? All right, so anyway, so you can see some of the paint came through here onto this page, which I don't care. I even kind of think it looks cool. But I'll still draw some other things over here, maybe some small little Leonardo sketches or something. I don't know, might put a quote. I might try to replicate his reverse writing on here or something like that, because that would be real cool to do with my parallel pen, some faux Leonardo writing. So that's what I was working on here. But I wanted to show you other things that I do in sketchbooks. Now, like I said, most of the time I'll have specific books for specific things, like my mixed media collage, Diane Reevely. I keep on saying Dinah because I get her and Dina Wakely's first names overlap in my head. And but a sketch, just a plain sketchbook like this other one here that I've been working in too before I got this one. This is just one of those Master Touch sketchbooks where, I've just done all kinds of little things here. We were playing with different eyes, different, here's like a lizard eye. And so it's just kind of, sorry guys, the light, there it comes. So just to play and doodle and sketch and things like this, different stages of different things. What else do I have in here? I don't even know. But when we go on stream and I need to do a quick sample of something, these kind of sketchbooks are, regularly $13.99. I wait till they're 50% off, so I get them for $7, and it is 60-pound weight. So it's, even thinner than this. But that's the kind of things I'll do in a sketchbook, and that's the kind of things that I'll do in this one. All right, let's see. She needs to make a few. Okay, I haven't missed anything. Let me put in test in my chat to make sure it's still rolling along. And links are open if y'all want to post anything y'all are doing. I know some of y'all are doing documented life, and I don't know what all those different ones are y'all are doing. The only one I really know about is documented life. as far as do I really know what's going on. And that's because I follow their Facebook group. Now, I haven't signed up for the 2015 Facebook group, but it's fun. I don't do it, but it's fun to watch and see all the creativity and the colors and the art and all that. So I did last year. I haven't, like I said, I haven't signed up on Facebook just to follow it in 2015, but I probably will. But anyway, so there's all kinds of those kind of projects going on, and that's why when I talked about us doing our idea notebook, which here it is. Here's the idea notebook that I have going for us for the end of January, and it's not a prompt book. It's not a thing like Documented Life or anything like that where you follow along daily or weekly or anything like that. It's just a place that you will collect your ideas in. And so I'm waiting till the end of January till everybody gets settled into whatever systems that they're going to work in for the whole year. So, because this is not a new system thing like that, but you can use it in conjunction with anything that you do, artistically, crafts, whatever you do, it'll be a place to collect your ideas. Okay, so Linda just posted the Twitter artexhibit.org, and I've seen that on Twitter. I haven't really researched it, Linda, so if anybody wants to look into, I believe you submit a piece of artwork, a specific size, kind of like the sketchbook traveling thing or something like that. And I could be wrong. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But it's called Twitter Art Exhibit, and at the end of the year, I think they post it somewhere. Is it in England? I don't know. In the UK? I don't remember where it is that they actually post that. I might be getting the two submission places, they're the same in my head or something. Postcard size. Okay, that's what I thought. So it's twitterartexhibit.org, and you can submit a 4x6 postcard. It goes to Norway. Okay. And then they post it at the end of the year on their blog or their site, and live, literally in Norway. They will have all the artwork up there. And so... Mm-hmm. Still trying. Okay, so then some other things that I drew these last night just so I can have something in the book. Let me see if I can prop this up over here. And I still have these other books to show y'all. So I'm trying to get the light to come on. There we go. Come on, you can do it. Come on. It's the white paper. So I did two sides. I did the side how I start out, and then I just did some little faces just to show you some kind of play things that you can do in a sketchbook. So all of these started out with just some circles, just like this, or ovals, I should say. Some ovals just to get some ideas and for some sketch faces and where you might want them to look. And so that's what all these were. And then I just sit and play with a pencil, and after I've drawn them with the pencil, then I go back in with either marker or colored pencil or whatever to doodle, color, just to play. This is not to be anything. This is for you just to constantly be practicing. And you could do full bodies, you could do faces, you could do whatever. It's not so much the thing as it is the practice of it. So let me see if I can hold this up. So here's some of the little, and I know the lighting's going to be horrible while I do this, but you can kind of see they just started out as all the same. They all started out looking exactly the same. They'll look like this. And then I turned them into little, just whatever with yellow little faces, kind of like my face journal, which I've shown y'all 100,000 times. Well, not literally, but And then after you draw them, you can go in with, I just went in with orange and purple and just played with okay. Hey, Miss Nita K. So anyway, Let me get to focus back. There we go. And all I use to draw them is just one of my woodless graphites. These I like them because they're dark, and you can get many kinds of. You can get thin line. Well, I know you're not going to be able to see this. Where can I? Maybe you can see it over here. A thin line. You can get a medium line, and you can get real thick lines. And you can shade. I just love these. And there's all different ones. Even Michaels has a brand out now. But this is a oh God grief. Pentalic woodless pencil is what this one's called. It's a Grumbacher. Then they have, let me see here. Michaels has their own Artist Loft brand, which I found that the Michaels Artist Loft brand is this one. No, here's an artist. This one broke, but anyway, it's an Artist Loft brand, and I found that these write darker, but they're scratchy. They write darker, but they're kind of scratchy feeling. Where the General brand, it's called Generals. The General brand and the Pentalic brand are softer, but even as a 2B, it's not very dark. Now, I don't know if I mentioned that you can get them in different weight, different. Let's see, this one's a 2B as well, and this is a General. Generals are smoother, I think, and the Artist Loft, even though I still think this is a 2B. I don't even remember because it broke. I did a whole thing on these one day. Here's the General brand. But you can get them in just like pencils, 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B. I think they come in, the woodless graphites come in all those. But I found that the Artist Loft brand is scratchy. It writes nice and dark, but it feels scratchy. Okay, so anyway, and they feel good in your hand. They're weighty and they're smooth, and they just feel good in your hand. So yeah, if you want be able to, let me do one over here for you. Now you may not be able to see, but we'll give it a go because of the lighting here. I'll just draw a quick little face here. So I kind of know that's there, even though that's not going to be the finished shape of the person's face. It gives you a guideline, and you can do, guys, girls, whatever you're feeling like, or whatever it feels like it's going to turn out to be. And I'm just, it's writing pretty dark because it's thick. All right, so here's just a quick little face. But look at the head. See the shape of the head? It's way not right. It's like an egg, right? But that just gives you a place to start. Now I can go in here and kind of shape the face. And another thing, I've shown y'all this too, to help you shape your face, if you even just draw circles for cheeks and the chin, that will help you kind of determine where the shape of the face will go. And then you just kind of follow along that. And you can it doesn't have to be a thin face. It's not going to be a cone head. You can do whatever, And if it bothers you that other lines are there, then let's see if I can hold this up again. If it bothers you that other lines are there, just, I don't really bother too much with erasing too much. Maybe the big line on the forehead I might erase, but just to, but all the little lines in the nose, like here, you can see the lines here still. See the lines? You can still see the lines. All right. And maybe she's got on some kind of now I'm almost making her look like a nun, but I didn't mean to. Now she's going to be, and maybe a little hair there. I don't know. You can see her ears if she doesn't have her hair out. So you can just kind of see. And the circles are there to help you kind of guide you where the cheekbones and the chin would be. Okay, you don't have to draw that in. Let me erase those out. I just wanted you to kind of have something so you could kind of see how a guideline. See? Oh, somebody, yeah, the Sketchbook, Anita K, it's 11 by 13, and it's like 2 inches thick, and it weighs a ton. I talked about it at the beginning, and all the particulars about it. Okay, so then after you do something like this, you can see it's not a lot. It's just a real quick. It's a way to do a whole bunch. I did all these real quick. There are those like the 1 minute face sketches in my Facebook. No, I don't mean Facebook like the Facebook website. I mean a book of faces. Anytime I say Facebook, here's in my Facebook, my face journal, which I've shown this, and it's it's on my videos. So anyway, I won't go through that one again. But that's just those quick things. Then what you can do is if you want to take a couple colors and just play. And so I've kept out some of the stuff I used to show you. So you can use colored pencils, the cheap Crayola markers, which I love the ones that have the black. This one smells like Fruit Loops. Here, smell. It smells like Fruit Loops. Love that. Nothing, I've never said anything that smells exactly like Fruit Loops except these super tip Crayola bullet tip markers. It smells exactly like Fruit Loops. Okay, yeah, Anita, thank you. So anyway, something like these cheap water, and when I say water-based, I don't mean that they'll spread with water. They're not like Neo colors, although let's bring out a Neo color because that'll be another good example. These are my favorite watercolor thing to use that's watercolor-ish. I like my ink tint pencils too, but I love my Neo colors. All right, now y'all know they're not cheap. I got these, I think, going on 3 years ago for my birthday, and you can barely tell I've used them. They last forever. And you can get them in bigger sets, and you can also buy them individually like at Dick Blick, and you can't get them at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. But you get them like at Dick Blick, and yeah, so if you ever want to replace them. Now, make sure, and all of y'all probably know that are here, you want the Neo Color 2 are the water-soluble ones. The Neo Color ones, the regular Neo Colors, are just like wax-based crayons. They are not water-soluble. So if you want the water solubility, get the Neo Color 2. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'll just get an orange and a purple because that's what I was using over on here with markers, just to show y'all. So you can take some water soluble crayons, you can take the cheap, that's all I did here. This is all just cheap Crayola markers. And unless you go crazy, look, it did not seep through. There's just a little doodle there. So you can do all kinds of things. This one I did with just a little ballpoint pen. But it didn't seep through. Now, your sprays like this is your the dilution sprays, heavily concentrated. They do go through. Okay, so you have to be aware of that. So if you don't want it going 3 pages deep, put a piece of scratch paper in between. All right, and even if you do pencil doodles like this with graphite, before I go and start drawing on this side of the page, I will put a scratch piece of paper because otherwise when you draw on here, it's going to transfer that graphite. Okay, and I don't seal anything. All right, you can also, I don't know if any of this is helpful to anybody, but hey Cheryl, I don't know if any of this is helpful to anybody. I'm just telling y'all what I do when I'm playing in a sketchbook. And I'm not by any means telling you this is hard, fast rules. You only can do this, or this is the best way, or anything like that. I'm just telling you how I play in a sketchbook. The other thing that you can practice with is if you want to go back over your sketches, your pencil drawings with a Sharpie pen. Now, I wouldn't recommend a Sharpie marker. Let me show you the difference between that. Okay. And like I said, I know probably all y'all know all this already, but I just talk out what I'm showing. So a Sharpie marker like this will go through. Maybe not if with just one line. Let's test that out. Maybe not with just one line. Yeah, you can still barely see it, but it didn't go through like the dilution spray did. But if you start coloring something in, it's going to start showing through. See? So you just have to kind of test. I usually have a test page in the back of every sketchbook just for testing out to see if things come through. And I also a place to get markers and pens rolling again. See, here's what I'm talking about. See, if you want to get stuff started or get them working again, you need something to kind of like clean them off. Now this one's going to be like a job to flip to the back and try to clean a pen, but to have a place to test to see what comes through. All right, but where's my lid for this? Where's the lid? Okay. So when I say a Sharpie pen, these are, and they come in, I think, 24 colors. I bought the set a while back, but I've used them all for different things. I have different kind of journaling projects going on, and I'll use different colors for different things. So I don't have the full set sitting right here, but they come in great colors, and they're thin. They're sharp. See how thin they are? But they show up great on for colors. Another thing to do is the Bic pens, the Bic what do you call them? Thick? No, what are they called? Not thick. They're the crystal, but they're the 6mm, and but they're called bold. That's what they're called. They're called bold. So let me get the orange. No, I have an orange one. I got a purple one. So again, the only problem that I find with using like ballpoint pens, they'll cover anything. They'll go over paint. They'll go over your acrylic paint. They'll go over anything. The only problem that I find with the ballpoint pens is they really dent your paper so that, you can feel it on the other side. It dents. You know what I'm talking about. It makes an indentation when you work with them through the paper, and I don't like the indentation because that will affect. Now, you may not want to write on the back side. I will, but if you write on this side or try to sketch or draw with the indentation on this side, it's going to affect your graphite, and you'll see where the indentations are. Okay, so just things to keep in mind. You may not care. You may not. I'm just, totally just sketching and doodling. I don't care if the indentations come through, but I am just calling your attention to that because this is just, 70 pound. It's not, I think 75. What did I say? 75-pound weight. Yeah, 75. So it's not like even my 110-pound Staples cardstock. All right, it's thinner, but it's great for this kind of thing. All right, so then after you do a little sketch over here, mindful that it is graphite and it will smear, and it will smear some with water too, depending on the pencil that you've used. I did a whole pencil comparison, and that's on one of my videos too. But I just wanted to show you some different kind of ways that you can color and play, and it doesn't, I need to keep that here for focus somewhere, maybe there. I don't know. It just needs to be somewhere to keep the camera focused. There we go. Because the light goes away if I don't. Let me get a water brush. And when I use my Neocolors, I just use one of these little water brushes. Thanks, Eileen. Appreciate it. Let's see. This one's got water in it. But it's a way. Somewhere there's coffee. My coffee is still where I spilt it before I hit record. Well, I won't get into it. But yeah, I spilled some coffee this morning. And I just see there's a splash of it there. It must be on here somewhere. Anyway, rabbit trail. So you can take and play with your Neo colors if you just want to test them out and play and see what you can do with them. Then just play with your little sketchy doodly things here to see. All right. Now I know you won't be able to see till I hold it up a little better. And then also, the best way I've found to clean off your water brushes with your Neo colors is just a Kleenex. The Kleenex just soaks it right off of the brush tip. So if you're cleaning your brush in between, the best thing is just a Kleenex. Better than a paper towel, I found. All right, so now I'm going to just take some orange. And it's so concentrated. The colors are just so concentrated that they just last forever. I mean, I know they're expensive. I think they're probably like $3 a crayon. And depending, if you're shopping online on a sale or if you're actually at like Dick Blick or whatever. But it's so worth it as far as how long they last. Okay, so you can do stuff like that. And see, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about, that if you really wanted to remember all this stuff, you would write it down and it would go in your idea 3-ring binder. When you get these kind of things and you get tips and you're watching a YouTube video, we're going to have a section in the binder for all your online, where you find your ideas online. That way you can remember where you got the idea, who gave it to you, and all that, and how to organize all that in that 3-ring binder at the end of January. So this is just another little thing, and you just, if you wanted to remember stuff, you write it on a Post-it note and then transfer the ideas over later, and we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I have the koi, and then this is the Pentel one, and there's another one too. I don't know if I don't think it's a Tim Holtz one that has comes in a set of 3, Eileen, a thin, thick, and thicker. I don't like those. The brushes flare. This one doesn't flare. It stays nice and pointy, and I think the koi does as well. The koi and the Pentel are the 2 I would recommend. The other ones, the brush hairs start to flare after a while, and that's okay for big washes and stuff, but you want to get in there with detail. You want to have one that holds a point. Timmy has some? Okay. Yeah. So Anita, yeah, so you take notes. Well, when you take notes, we're going to have a place, I don't know if you saw where I've just briefly talked about the idea notebook that some people have already started put together. There's a video on it. And we're going to start at the end of January organizing all your ideas. Okay? All right. So I'm just trying to, there we go. Watch the light. Watch, it's coming back. It's going to come back. Camera just does not like white. So anyway, this is kind of a little way to just do some doodly faces. Then, now it's wet right now, so I really can't go over it with color pencil. Let me hit it with the heat gun so that it dries faster. So I can show you some more you can do with this kind of thing. And the lights. All right. All right, Eileen said something. Still afraid I will have only one tab. It says whatever. You will need a whatever tab. I haven't printed out your tabs yet. Eileen, I don't know if I opened only, like if you sent me more than one thing to open, but the one thing you sent me to open, or the one thing I found that you emailed me to open, is just black. It's like an outline of a tab. It's not the color tabs. Not that it matters, because I can just pull them off of Twitter, your Twitter pictures, and print them. But I know you went to the trouble of emailing it to me, and I just ended up with the black, like an outline, like a silhouette of the tab. It's not the color tabs, so I don't know. All right, so now that this is dry, now it's still pencil, it'll still smear, see. So if you don't want to, you can spray it with a fixative or whatever if that, if you're worried about that. All I really care about as far as pencil, graphite transfer is when I go to the next page and I'm working on this side, that this graphite will transfer to that. So I would just stick a piece of, like it's just a leftover, printer paper thing. I'll just put that there so that when I'm working on here, they're not transferring together. And some people don't even care about that. So, but some of us are a little OCD on certain things. The PNG file that you can use on the can. Okay, all right, thanks. All right, so I don't know, for whatever reason, I did get that one, Eileen. For some reason, I opened it up and thought, these aren't her colorful Eileen Digi Art tabs. I wanted the Eileen Digi Art tabs. So I'll just pull them off your pictures, Eileen. It's no big deal. But yeah, that's what I thought. Well, I thought she was mailing me her DigiArt ones, not the PNG outline. But that's fine. I love your art, so that's what I was expecting. Hey, Dada, how you doing? I'm just showing a little bit of my very big sketchbook, and I did do a recording on it, and so I'm just kind of showing some of the things that I did in it. Working on them. I keep wanting to say Mona, but it's not Mona. A Leonardo face and some little sketch faces. All right, so I dried this. So now what you can do is play like here. So you can see where I put some little dots and dashes and lines and, just whatever, just to play with some color and things. Well, that's the same thing you can do here. Let's just take like the marker, for instance. You can, after your watercolor wash is dried, you can go in here and play on top of it with markers. Whoops, sorry guys, let me hold that up. It weighs a ton. See the little stripes? So you can go on top of it with pencil, marker. If you want to shade, let me move my Neo colors here. Let me put these away. I don't want them to tump over. Let me get a darker orange here. Here, well, even a sienna would be good. I don't want raspberry. Here we go. So, here. Then you can go in here and practice your shading. And see if I can hold this up while I work on it a little bit. It's just that's a place to practice, just practice your shading or blending too. So let's just go ahead and put a little bit of this sienna on there. Now let me get another orange. Trying to hold it in midair while I'm not going to be able to do that. It takes two hands. Okay. So you can practice your blending and your shading on your little sketches. It's just a great way to practice. See? Okay. Know what I mean, Vern? Okay. All right. Hey, Carrie. Anybody else popped in? Yeah, if y'all don't say something in chat, I may not know you're here. You might be hidden over there in the corner. I'm scrolling, see if I missed anybody right off. I think I said hi to Bridget, and I know I said hi to Miss Peeper. I love saying that. I just like saying Miss Peeper. It makes me happy. All right, so any questions on any of this? Oh, and then you can go in here and play with, around it. You could doodle, you could color in. Here, let me do another one with an outline. Okay, let me go ahead with this one, the purple. Let me hold this up here. So let's just do I just want to play here. I want to make it geometric. So you can just play and sketch and doodle and whatever. Okay. Sorry, it's got a lot of bumping with this big Mama Jamba. All right. All right. All right. Any questions or anything? I froze for a second when I got incoming mail. All right. Where's my, here. Need something to focus my lighting again. All right. Wait, I know there's a lag in the chat. Just making sure there's no questions or anything. All right, well, I don't see any questions on the big sketchbook, the very big sketchbook. If y'all missed my 1-minute video on YouTube, go over there and look at where I unboxed it. All right, so there we go. So I'm going to move this off the desk because it is roomy. I'll probably leave that there because that's good focus. And I know the squeaky chair. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you was that if y'all if you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, okay, come on, Mona. That's not Mona, Leonardo. I need some light. There we go. If y'all follow me on Facebook or Twitter, you've seen these already posted, but I thought I'd show them again. I'm working on drawing most of the crew from Gold Rush. And I started off with Parker and his grandpa because he reminds me of my grandpa. So I drew, this was the first one that I did with Parker and his grandpa. And it's just color pencil and it's just on craft cardstock. And so I'm just going to show y'all quickly the ones that I've done so far. So there's Parker and his granddad. The lighting is behaving. The next one I did was the Hoffmans. That's Tony and his dad. I mean Todd and his dad, sorry. Tony's the next one. Oh, sorry guys. This is Todd and his dad, the Hoffmans. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get the camera to stop. So there's that in color pencil and some acrylic paint. See if I can get them to focus. There we go. If you want to see them, closer up, you can look at Facebook or Twitter. Get it to focus. So there's Todd and his dad, the Hoffmans. And then here's Tony and Monica. This is Tony, and this is his daughter, Monica. And these are the three main crews on Gold Rush. These are the three main crew, different places they're mining. So it's Parker and his granddad. There's the Hoffmans. And then there's Tony and his daughter, Monica. Now, they have crew that work with them. Like, I think the next one I want to do is Dozer Dave and Gene. Those are like theirs and theirs. No, it's Parker's and the Hoffmans, like main crew guy, like dozer guys, and I don't know what you call them technically. But anyway, they work on their crews, and so I think I'm going to draw them next. So I just thought I'd show those real quick. Thanks, Dana. So I've been working on those just in between other commissions and things, so I just thought I'd show you that. What else? Okay, back to the new books. So now that you saw the very big sketchbook, I'm going to try to get the light to come back here. You'll have to tell me if it's really dark. I can fix some in my software, but I can't change the sun. All right, although I would like to have better lighting in here, which one day I will get that. All right, so I got the Leonardo da Vinci book, which I showed y'all last week a little bit, and it's a big coffee table size book, and it weighs about the same as the big sketchbook does. And And it was on sale for $14.95. And y'all know I love Leonardo da Vinci. I love Mona. And so the reason that I really, really, really love this book, because I've seen many Leonardo books before and have got a few and cut up a few, is that they have these amazing close-ups like this. This is the one that I showed y'all, if y'all missed it, real quick, that I'm drawing in the sketchbook here in colored pencil. So, okay, so that's the one I'm working on. Just for color pencil reference. This is obviously not color pencil, it's oil, but I'm practicing some of the blending with my, hold the camera, practicing some of my blending with the color pencil, and these ginormous faces are just so fun to practice with. Now, I don't think there's much nudity in here, but you know, a little baby nursing or something like that. We don't want to get Ustream mad at us. Y'all know how Ustream's very particular. All right, like here's Mona Lisa's hands, close up. So it has, here's close up of her face. So this is the reason I bought this book, was for all of this, the close-ups. Okay, and it's also some of his sketches too. See, but there's just tons of those. See, from here's the painting. There's the close-up of it, and also you can, you know, just like look at the backgrounds, and you just see so much when it's blown up this big. Even though you'd be surprised how lack of, if you really, really want to see things like, almost like seeing an underpainting, is to take a picture. Let me see if I can show you an example. And sometimes my iPhone will, sometimes it'll make everything yellow and sometimes it won't. So we're going to take a chance here because I want to show y'all this. Let me go to pictures. I wanted to show you how you really can see. Let me see if I got 3 of those. I need the one where I have 3 of them. Do I have 3 of that one? Well, maybe I'll just go into an app and show you how you can. Oh, wait, I do have 3 of that one. Okay, so here is, let me get the picture, the right picture. Hang on, guys. And this may not be interesting to anybody, but I'm going to show y'all anyway. All right, let me find the, is that, no, let's keep going. I think it's toward the front. It's the one I'm drawing, but she's in a couple places. Okay, here we go. So you can look how close that one is. That's the one that I'm drawing. And I showed y'all at the beginning how non-white her eyes are. I showed that at the beginning. So let me, wait a minute. All right. So here we go. No, it's not, where is it? Is it the very beginning? I just had her here 1 second ago. Where's the full picture? Here. Okay. All right. Maybe I should show the whole scenery one. Yeah, the scenery one will be better. All right, hang on, guys. I'm trying to get a real good, here we go. All right, let's do it with this one. All right, so look how dark everything is there. Here's a picture of that. Now, it's going to look lighter, of course, on my phone than it is here. But just so y'all can kind of see how dark everything is? Even though in person, me looking at this, it's more like this, it's still very dark, just like this. All right, it's very dark. You can't see a lot of detail. Well, if you turn it into a black and a white, you're going to start seeing more. So here's a black and white. And then if you go into your contrasting, you can pull out, I don't know if you'll be able to see, look at the curls that I was able to pull out of her. Let me try to get to, look at, there we go. Look, all that you could not see without a photo app to pull out the contrast. Okay, look, you can't see it here. like you can there. All right. See? See how much detail you can see in these paintings when you photograph them and contrast them? Let me try to go into one of my apps to kind of give you a better. Is this interesting to anybody? Oh, Miss Peeper. Okay, thanks, Miss Peeper. You said awesome. Okay, just seeing if somebody's listening. All right, so let me go into one. Let's do Mona. All right, so here we have Mona. And again, it's going to be kind of tough for you to see on my my iPhone. But there's the photograph. Now, we're going to go into, let's go into adjust the lighting. All right. So here, let's see if it'll show. All right, so I'm going to just use my little slider bar here, which y'all won't see me sliding because I'm trying to keep the camera glare out. Now watch her. Look. All right. Now, let's do some contrasting. All right, again, let me go into the, let's see if I'm sliding it. All right, let's go down. Here we go. See how much in the back, even though she got blurrier, look at the background. See how you can see all that stuff now? Look at the background. See how much you can see when you take the contrast? Things that you wouldn't necessarily see when it's like, here's what the picture looks like, and then look. So anyway, that's one of the cool things about, the photo apps and things where you can change and brighten things and clarify and contrast and sharpen and see things in them that you may not be able to see otherwise. Okay. Thanks, Lisa. Yes. And there's a gazillion photo apps out there. When you take a photograph. All right, let me show you. Let me find another example here of not a painting, but just a regular. Someone said it's amazing what you can do with the photo apps. Let me find just a regular photo, not one of the pictures. Let me find like one I've taken of Boo or something. Okay, there's a good example. All right, so here's a picture of Annie, Dan, and Logan. All right, now it's pretty bright. I got it all, she posted it on Facebook, and Logan's nice and bright, but look how kind of dark they are back there. And I know it's not focusing. My camera's making it, there go. So they look a little dark. But if I go into my one, and there's a gazillion of them, there's all kinds of them that you can go in and do photo editing. Instagram even has them, just normal. But let me go back now to the photo here. Okay. All right. So let me make it big so you can see them. All right. So there they are. Okay. And if you want to brighten them and enhance, you can sharpen, you can adjust here. Let me just go ahead and just do the brightness because you'll be able to see it, obviously. See? With just a slide. You can brighten them up. Hey, sister woman. See how you can brighten up your pictures with just a simple app? Okay. I haven't heard from you this morning, sister woman. Is everything okay? I haven't heard anything, so. But I'm seeing you here, so I'm going to ask you why you're here. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's why I bought this book, and it has, all Leonardo's sketches and drawings and paintings and nice big close-ups of the paintings, the sketchbooks, and everything. So that's why I bought this book, and it was only, like I said, it was only 14. Okay. So there we go. All right, so let me put that one aside because it's a Mama Jamba as well. Get my lighting back here. All right, so the other books that I got recently, and also just the other day with the very big sketchbook. I love that that focuses everything really nicely. I was waiting to see Sister Woman answer. Okay, so is she home, Sister Woman? Is she home? And I know there's a lag, so I kind of have to wait. Lizzie Jane, we were talking about you earlier. We were all saying happy birthday to you again because when we said happy birthday to you on Twitter and Facebook, you weren't around. So we figured you were working with your daughter. So it's good to see you. We were all saying happy birthday to you again from a couple days ago. And as soon as Sister Woman answers me, and did she get home? Is what I wanted to know, Sister Woman. So I'm just waiting for the lag. Okay. Thanks, Sister Woman. Okay, because no, I haven't heard. All right, let me go warm up my coffee. We'll try not to spill this cup. And then when I come back, I will show you the new Orly Avenir. And I know I'm not saying her name right. Aveniri, Orly Aveniri, her new journal book. So we'll talk about that. And I just ended up getting a little pocket traveler journal because I had to add $2 or so, I think it was $2.95 extra to get my free shipping. And then this I got at Books a Million, which I just briefly talked about last week, the Compendium of Fantasy Art Techniques, if anybody wants to see a little more of that. Um, so we'll talk about that as soon as I get back from getting some coffee. So yes, books, Anita K. There's always books here. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Let me warm up my coffee. Okay, so there we go. Try not to spill this cup. Okay, that's way to go. All right. All right, that's good to know, Sister Woman. Thank you. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and talk about this one first because this was the first one that I got. And I know it's a little, there we go. There's a light. So this one I got at Books a Million. Well, Hubster got it for me for Christmas. The Compendium of Fantasy Art Techniques. And what this was, there's three different fantasy artists, Rob Alexander, Finlay Cohen, and Kevin Walker. And each of them took, and I don't know in what order, I mean, which ones, I'll have to look in the book, but one took creatures, one took characters, and one took backgrounds. And they did a whole section on that. Now, I did show this kind of extensively last week, and so I won't go too much into it. As any kind of art technique books, they always talk about the different supplies you'll need, tools, materials, your basic things on watercolor, acrylics, your workspace, and all that. Almost all technique books do that. Now, I'm not really one. I love fantasy scenes and fantasy art, and I was in with the gaming community years ago, and so I love all of that. But for me, with the art I do, I don't draw the creatures. I mean, I draw people, if you want to call them, they can be characters, but I don't do specific fantasy characters and creatures, but I love the fantasy backgrounds. I like putting my own realistic animal and people drawings in fantasy worlds. So any kind of a book that talks about the different kind of worlds, scenery, landscapes, I love that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that I like. Not that I don't love it at all. I love it all. I love the creatures, the characters, all of it. But as far as usefulness for what I do, not that that matters, because I'll buy a book on a eye candy whim in a second. Oh, and they even talk about working digitally, which I don't do, but Eileen might get something out of that. She does digi work. Okay, so has a section on that. Then it talks just like, getting started, how to do composition and your layouts and different things, and where to get inspiration, and, just different things where they get inspiration, things like that. Of course, now, and let me see what year this book came out. I was going to say, we have Pinterest, we have everything now. It's been reprinted, so I'm not seeing the. Well, it's been reprinted this year, but I think the first hardcover came out 2003, 5, and I don't know how much they've updated it. If back in 2003 they had anything about the digi in it, because they update them. But this particular softback came out. This is first edition 2014. So whatever new content they've added to it. Yeah. And so I don't know about the digi part, Eileen, if they've, I don't know enough about digi to see how updated what they're using here, if they're just plain old Photoshop or if they're using any kind of the new, software or anything like that. Okay, so moving on. So then it has a section on developing ideas. Of course, your sketchbooks. Your sketchbooks, people. Y'all know I'm all about writing everything down. It looks like here. Oh, this is a little bit of how they took different things on gathering computer ideas. And then some character development. How to, doing different little creatures. It's all done, it all starts in your sketchbook. It all starts, drawing down your ideas. And when I say sketching down your ideas, it doesn't have to be a finished, it doesn't have to be like a finished, completed drawing to get the ideas moving, get it started. Yes, the newest summer, Anita, I don't think you were here. Let me quickly rabbit trail that. Anita, this is what the new Somerset studio looks like. Someone was asking in chat. This is a live show for those watching the recording. We have live people chatting. Anyway, yeah, Anita, this is what the new Somerset looks like, and here's the newest art journal, the January-February art journaling. So that's the two newest Stampington art journal mixed media magazines. And then I don't know if y'all saw this. I showed a kind of an in-depth of this, The Beauty of Zentangle. That I showed a week or two ago as well. All right, so now chapter 2 here is talking about fantasy figures, how to sketch, draw, just different little ways that they developed their characters. That's the hero, and it goes through a lot of anatomy on how to develop your characters. There's armor, weapons. See, all this stuff is very cool to me. I love any kind of thing. That's why I think a lot of artists like gaming, because of the art of it. That's, and then there's the heroine and the hero, not heroine, the hero. the female hero. Let me clarify that. The female hero. There's a wizard and just different ones of how they develop theirs. And you know they're just kind of, it's kind of like how to develop your ideas and things. It's not really showing you a step by step to how to do a painting. Okay, like it's not something you copy. It's something you learn and develop from. All right, so the different creatures. Oh, there's a werewolf and just different ones. Then CB, they broke it up by different types of creatures, different kinds of characters, and then let me just, I don't want to go through the whole book, but I'm going to kind of flip through here. There's a troll and all just everything. There's a little bit of everything, and the different environments. Seasonal variations. Now, what I did with this, what I got the most out of is, here's called Creating Fantasy Realms. I made myself a list, and I'll show you that when we go into the idea collecting notebook, of how I kept a list, a bullet list of all the different worlds you could create. Now, as I was doing, just writing down like the desert, the underwater, the ice realm, off of those just basic ones sprung many more ideas. So I want to show you how you can take one idea and not exactly mind map it, but kind of into other ideas. Okay, so all the different landscapes, scenery, you know, just all kinds of. Just to give you an example here. Okay, so it's got tons of idea generating things. It's not really a book to me. I mean, if you're just starting out and you're a young artist just starting out wanting to learn, you know, some of the kind of fantasy realms, this is probably a great book for like trying to practice your drawing and stuff. For me, it's like an idea generator. All right, let me put test in my chat, make sure we're still scrolling along here. All right, excuse the squeaky chair. Still in Hubster's office chair. All right, so there's that. Any questions? I'll wait a second till the chat catches up. It's not moving. Can someone say something? All right, thank you, Anita. Yeah, sometimes people just go on a speaking go, 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 and then sometimes when it doesn't move, the streamer doesn't know if the chat's frozen. All right, so there's that. All right, so the other book that I got with my very big sketchbook was Orly Avenieri, her newest book called In My Bones. Let me get her other two out to show you. Hang on, guys. I should have pulled it sooner. Okay, here we go. So I have her other two books as well. Now, as far as I know, these are not in the bookstore. You have to get them on Amazon. So just FYI, my chair's not rolling again. All right. Yeah. Yeah. And one of this one, her first one Artist Journal, she tells a lot about her story. She tells about where she came from, what she's gone through, and she kind of reminds me of the Sabrina Ward Harrison type of journal, where it's like a lot of spilling, a lot of throwing things out there, and you know what I mean? I think most of y'all, is there anybody here that does not or has not seen Sabrina Ward Harrison books? If there is, I will pull those out as well. Although I've shown them here a few times. But if you want to see those as well, I'll pull. Thanks, Miss Peeper. If you have not seen Sabrina Ward Harrison, I will pull her books to show as well. So this was her first one. This one kind of talks a lot about her history, where she's come from, where she's, you know, her life and history, and that sort of thing. And then the second one was 14 artist journals. In this one, she did a compilation of 14 of her artist friends and the insides of their journals. So it kind of, and there might be a little, I don't want to, show any breasts or anything, because Ustream does not like nudity at all. Just saying. I mean, they don't even allow statues of David. You know what I mean? They don't allow any kind of anything like that on Ustream. Which, I can see they probably just have to draw the line somewhere, even though it's beautiful art. But that being said, I have to kind of be careful when I flip through art books that, Anyway, so it's got all different kinds of her artist friends and their journals in this one called 14 Artist Journals. Then her newest one is In My Bones, a visual journal. And again, it is like showing inside of her art journal. Now, I was telling the girls when we first, before I hit record, I love seeing inside of people's art journals. I love looking at them, seeing them, what they draw. But in this case, and I'm just questioning it, I don't know for sure. Her notes, it's not just necessarily if it was just a commentary on this, I would kind of get it. But it's kind of like her commentary about, like for instance, only when I stand here alone, feeling somewhat lonely, stuck and motionless, that I can start walking, and that's kind of hard to read because there's paint, a little bit of color on it. That I can start walking an enchanted walk from here to there, welcoming whoever and whatever awaits me along my trek. Now, I love that, but was that what was going on when she did this? Because these little excerpts of her thoughts, I'm not sure if that goes with this. And that is the only thing that kind of, when I see this kind of art journal, I want to look at this kind of art journal and see what I see in it, try to get to know her and a feel for what her is going on when she did this page. Now, if that is in fact what was going on with her when she did this page, I get that. But if it's not, to me, that kind of interferes with my getting to know her through her art. I hope that makes sense. What she says is great. Her work is great. But do they actually, in fact, go together? That's what I don't know. So when I read this and look at her art, I'm influenced. I'm influenced by her words. So when I read this, I'm looking for that in here. If that words weren't here, I'd be looking at the art in and of itself. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, y'all are getting what I'm saying. So I'm not sure that when she wrote, only when I stand here alone, feeling somewhat lonely, stuck and motionless, was that what she was thinking when she did this? Or is this a totally different thing? And it could be. But because that is there, it forces me to look for that. It forces me to look only when I'm standing here alone, feeling somewhat lonely. Okay? She may not have meant that when that doesn't necessarily go. But because the words are there, it makes me look for that. Maybe that was intentional. Maybe that's what she wanted. Maybe she wants you to, only when I stand here alone, feeling somewhat lonely, stuck, and she wants you to relate that to this. But me personally, when I'm looking at people's art journals, and maybe that's subconsciously why I don't like to art journal on my art journals. Write on my art journals, is because I want the viewer to figure what's in them is going to come out inside themselves. They're going to see what's inside of them. And I might see something totally different here than what these words are if those words were not there. Yeah, and if she meant them to go together, that's fine. But for me, I would rather. Okay, so for instance, here, let me give you an example, and maybe I'm over analyzing it, but I do that anyway. Okay, so here's one of my little art cards. All right. Now, when you look at this, you're going to see something based on what is inside of you, your life, your experiences, your who you are. You're going to see in this from your life, your experiences. However, if I had put, let me get back over there, hang on. And this is on almost, I don't say every page, but you know, a bulk of her, uh, a bulk of her pages have these kind of um, explanations or little poetry or little thoughts on them. But if I had shown you this and then said, only when I stand here alone, feeling somewhat lonely, stuck and motionless, that I can start walking an enchanted walk from here to there, you're going to have a total different perspective. Or if I had written on there, in my visual expression, I often consider color, line, form, text pattern, and texture. Less intentionally, and you see what I'm saying? So that's more of an explanation. Or if I wrote on there, shooting for nothing. You see how it changes depending on the words that are added? Oh, sorry, Miss Peeper, for an ad. But do you see how it changes what you see, think, and feel about the piece when the words are added? Now, if they are intentionally added because you want to explain very surely what you meant when you did this piece, then you know, and I'm not knocking her for doing this. I'm just saying it gives you a total different perspective on the art when words are added. Yes, it will lead you to thinking in different ways about different things. And when there's no words on the art, whatever is in you, your life, your experiences, your vision, your life will be seen in the piece as interpreted for what you see in it. But when artists put explanations, that's okay if you really feel the need to explain that. Or in this case, maybe she just wants it to be her pretty journal with some of her poetry explanation words in it. And that's fine too. I'm just saying that the words influence how you view the art. Okay? Okay, so here for another example. Now, here are some words that look to me like we're in the journal. Something that you need, I don't have. That looks like it was part of her painting process, her art journaling process. Okay? Something, this part right here, something that you need, I don't have. That looks like it's part of this process. But then now here, keep on piling up the jewels on the crown of your creativity one by one, raw or unpolished. You create them. And then she goes on, know the turmoils and know how to detach. Grant yourself permission to be the sentient being that you already are. Now, this one's a little bit more of an explanation of her technique than like the previous one I read. But even so, that influences what I see. It influences what I think about this. And if she wants that to happen, then yay, you know. Okay, here's another one. It is the intricate dance between the conscious and the subconscious that is constantly unfolding on the pages of my journal. And then she gives a quote. And then toward the bottom, she says, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And I love what she says, but does it have to do with this piece? Y'all get me, right? Love this, but does it go together? Did she intend for it when she was making the piece? Okay, so anyway, I love her art journals. They're fun, they're raw, they remind me, like I said, of Sabrina Ward Harrison. And she talks, about different things in her life and things going on and how she expresses herself in her art. And I do. I love her art. I've got all three of her books. But that just kind of, when I saw that, I just wondered, is that what she was thinking for sure? Um, Here's another one. That says sweet and gentle. Was that part of the art journal or was that just something added on? You know? Okay. So I recommend all her books, as I would Sabrina Ward Harrison's. I love all that kind of, art and rawness and making you look into somebody's life. Because when you look at this, it does make you, it makes you wonder about who they are, what they've been through. And to me, this makes me want to read her biography more than a technique. Okay. So anyway, that might have been a little bit more explanation than needed, but that's just kind of like my view on those type of art journals where things have been added on later. Okay. Any other questions or comments or anything? And have you seen the Sabrina Ward Harrison book, so y'all know what I'm talking about, right? When I say that this kind of reminds me. I know there's a delay in the chat, so I got to wait, 30 seconds for things to catch up. Thanks, Anita K. But anyway, so I love this kind of art. And you've read all of Sabrina Ward Harrison's books, okay? Anybody else here? All right, CB, have you seen Sabrina Ward Harrison's? So that you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so I guess everybody that wants to know about it has said. All right, so yeah, so I love all of them. I would recommend all of them. They're different, a little bit more biography, a little bit more art journal, and then this one, like I said, is 14 different ones of her artist friends and people she knows that compiled their journals into a book. Love all of them. Okay. All right, so there, I think we're done with the book review. That, like I said, this is just a little traveler's sketchbook, and yeah. All right, so let's see how long we've been here. Less than 2 hours, so we're good as far as time. Yeah. Yeah, I like these kind of books too. And I know I've shown y'all many. I've got many different kinds of those books where, like for instance, the Danny Gregory one is a good example. There's a couple, and I've shown them. I know I'll probably get repetitive over the course of showing you books, but sometimes just different ones come up at different times. Let's see. Let me just pull a couple other kind of art journaling. They're not the how-to books, so I'm gonna pull something that's not exactly how-to. Uh, this is another one. It's a I'm just gonna kind of show you a few of the compilations that I can just see right off the top of my shelves. I won't show Sabrina's since. All right, well, let me just show you these three that just kind of jump out at me. All right, for instance, this is the Danny Gregory's one, An Illustrated Life. Now, he's got one, if not two, other books out now. One's a travel journal, and if y'all have not seen his Everyday Life one, that's where he draws just everything in his life, and that one's, well, I have it up here. Hang on. Called The Creative License. All right. Sorry for the camera bump again. All right. The Creative License came out in 2006, and it shows him drawing everything, like everything he owns. His clothes, his food, his everything. And his is the creative license talks about taking a pen. He doesn't even use pencil. Take a pen and start drawing, basically. Okay, so anyway, his second, I wanted to show these because there are a whole bunch of different artist sketchbooks and journals, and that's where I was heading with this. So this one's called An Illustrated Life, Drawing Inspiration from the Private Sketchbooks of Artists, Illustrators, and Designers. I love these books. I have tons of them, and I will buy them practically sight unseen. And yeah, he's got some. His wife passed away, and so he's got some other things, books I think about her. Another one about travel. I think he's got maybe two travel journals now. I'm not sure. I don't have those. So this one is An Illustrated Life, and I forget how many. What does it say? How many? This one came out in 2008. And I think I tried to guess before about how many, 5, 10, 15, 30, maybe 50 different artists maybe. And what he does is he just goes through a couple, I think maybe they got 2 to 4 pages each. Maybe, oh, this one's his, so that's okay. 2 to 4 pages each. Or maybe just, yeah, maybe 4 pages each on the different, they're inside their sketchbooks. Here's one, Matthias Adolfsson. I think he's Swedish, and don't quote me on this because I don't remember. I used to follow his blog, and I still see him around on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. And but he started off just doing these very detailed drawings and cartoon characters. I don't know. That's kind of, I don't mean it like in a cartoony style, but he would do these characters and in moles. And he did tons of these. And this is way back when I first started following. He's come, I mean, he's just like, everybody knows who he is now. Well, if you follow any kind of sketchbook artist guys, or you might even recognize them when you see them. This kind of stuff. It's probably not going to be enough focus. But they're in small. They're small. Now I know he's expanded to larger things now, but there's so much detail in such a small little moleskine. And yeah, so that's just one example. A lot of these people you probably recognize in seeing them online and stuff, but it just actually shows inside their sketchbooks. Okay, and again, I'm going to have to be careful flipping through because I don't want to show any accidental nudity. And but I'm just going to kind of do a quick flip here so you can see the different styles. All different kind of styles. And I know I'm kind of going fast, but like I said, and it's inside actual photographs of the insides of their sketchbooks. Let's see. Okay, so that's called An Illustrated Life. I love this one. If you just want to see inside sketchbooks, this is the one. If you're afraid to put a pen to paper, then that one. All right, so here's a couple other ones this one's different sketchbooks, and then this one, I don't know how many of y'all have ever heard of the Journals of Dan Eldon. The Journey is the Destination. This one was put out by his mom after he was killed in some kind of I don't even want to say countries or anything because I don't even remember. Let's see, what year was it? It was in the it was okay, it was in a bombing in 1993. And he's kind of like a photojournalist. He grew up, I'm trying to remember now, it's been a while since I read his book. I mean, I bought it, when it first came out. Let's see what year. It's put out by Chronicle. Anything put out by Chronicle, I love. 1997, and this is a first edition, so that's when it came out. So 1997, but he was killed in 1993, and his mom put this book together. And he grew up in a very, I think, artistic traveling family. They traveled a lot. It's very artistic, and there he is right there. I think he was like 23 Anita's saying it's a good book. Yeah, some of y'all might remember right off. He was like 20 something. And so his mom got all of his old journals and drawings and everything. They're literally a travel, I mean, it's talk about a travel journal, a travel art journal. And she's even got some of his, in a little glassine, some of his, I mean, it shows what he saw. When you go to these countries that are very, poor or things going on, he put the photographs of all that in his journals. And his mom, I don't know, I don't remember how she compiled them, but she compiled them into this book and had it published. So he's got photos, drawings, a little bit of writing, a little of everything. Yeah, it's a sad book. It really is. But the fact that his mom documented his life, I just thought was really amazing. So, and the ISBN, let me see if I can get it up. It's probably in paperback now. Let me just read it. I'm sure it's probably in paperback now. But the hardback, the cover is 081181586 And at the time it was $27.50. I don't even know how much a paper soft cover version is or anything. I haven't looked. All right. Then the last one I was going to show you here. And Julia Rothman had a blog, or maybe still does. I used to follow it years ago, called Book by Its Cover. And this is a bunch of people that contributed to her blog, or I'm not sure how she did. I don't remember. She asked people to contribute to the blog, or they just volunteered for the blog. And this is just a way to show you how taking something like a blog and a cool idea like Danny Gregory's creative license that came from Everyday Matters sketch group. Same kind of thing for Julia Rothman's Book by Its Cover. It's a compilation of, a peek into the inspiring sketchbooks of 44 fine artists, illustrators, graphic designers, and cartoonists. So, and I think her blog is still there. I think the last time I pulled this book out, I went and checked, but I don't know. So, yeah, and it's $24.99 US, and it's soft cover, so you can see the prices have gone up in books. But anyway, again, I'm going to have to kind of be careful as far as what I show because I don't remember any. The reason I'm saying all that, guys, is because we've had at least 2 of our friends have been kicked off Ustream for accidentally showing a drawing of a breast, or I think Blade had, he had to fight to get back on after he showed a statue or something. So they're just real particular about it, and I don't, I'm not faulting them for it. I'm just saying we have to be very careful about what we show, even art-wise, in that regard. Okay, so, all right, so 44 different artists, and again, I'm just going to kind of try to give you an idea of the different, there's an introduction, and then just different inside actual sketchbooks. I'm going to kind of flip quick and then just stop and show some. Okay. So anybody have any questions or want to see any other kind of books or talk about any other kind of anything? I really just wanted to show y'all how I'm working in my new big Mama Jamba, very big sketchbook. Bye, Carol. Anybody else coming or going? Thanks for stopping in. Y'all know we love to show and tell and books, talk about books. Just wait and see if there's any more comments. Who is the guy who I follow? Oh, yeah, Randall Plowman. I'll show you his book too. Yeah, I still follow him. He's a collage artist and he does do classes. I'll show his book as well if y'all want to see that. See, it's actual photographs of their books and inside them. And sometimes you see around the edges. Loose papers. Of course, you know, we that have been in the art journaling sketchbook groups forever. I think we've seen every kind of art journal and art book practically out there over the years. But that's because we keep up with it, you know. I'll show the book in just a sec if I can find it right off my shelf. Okay. But I love these kind of things. I love every kind of art. So I love looking at different artist books, styles. I think I showed y'all Linda Berry a couple shows ago, her books. So anyway, that's called Drawn In, and it's from Book by Its Cover. She has I think you can check, see if she still has a blog or a website. I don't know if she still has a blog. So there you go. So there's a few other book looks. All right, let me see if I can find my Randall Plowman right off. I'm looking. I'm looking. Hang on. For some reason, I'm thinking I put it somewhere else, but I'm still looking. Looking. It's not jumping out at me for some reason. Collage. It's not with my collage books. I don't know why. It should be with my collage books, but it's not. All right. I'm not sure where it is, guys. I think my last time I piled out the books. Let me look over here with these. The last time I piled out the books, I think it got in with those. Yeah, it's not there. Sorry, guys, I'm not able to put my hand on, but it's Randall Plowman, and it's collage. Oh, I can't even think of the name right now. I'm not putting my hand on it right here, guys. Next time I'm digging through, I'll make sure and pull it for you. I know I've shown it a bunch of times. You know it's going to bug me. Ah, I found it. Okay, I found it. Collage workbook. And I even have my little calendar in there that is it either Darcy or Sister Woman. No, I got the calendar. They bought me I bought the calendar and they bought me the print. Okay, so anyway, a collage workbook. That's it. All right, found it. Sorry, it took a while to dig through. So his is a actual workbook. His is a step-by-step, And the other one is Nick Bantock, who has a kind of like a workshop type book for, let me see if I can put my hand on that one. It's up here it is. All right, so let me show you this one and then I'll show you that one. I have all of Nick Bantock. He's the one that did all the, oh, grief. The Griffin and Sabine, the Griffin and Sabine series. And this is his, I think his newest one. All right, so let's go back here. This is called the Collage Workbook, How to Get Started and Stay Inspired. And we did do a couple of projects out of this, maybe a year or so ago. I'm not even sure when we did it. But he does 50, I think it's 52, 50 project prompts and in a little bit of an image library of some clip art in the back that you can use. But he gives you actual step-by-step projects to do. And we've done a couple of them here just to play around with them. And like layering. Let's see, where's the actual project start here? All right, here we go. 50 creativity exercises. For example, 5 5-minute collages. And then he does, a little step out here. Black and white, color plunge. And then he gives you, for instance, in color plunge, I'll just give you an example. Choose a color and make a monochromatic collage using various shades of that color only or mostly. Why stop there? Try making a collage for every color in the rainbow. This is a great exercise to explore the power of color and how you can integrate it into your work. For more information on color and the color wheel, because he has a little thing back here in the beginning about the color wheel. So he gives you they're kind of like prompts, I guess. Okay. Image pairings, stripes, squares and rectangles. So he just gives you the numbers, finger paint, tissue paper, maps, treasure hunt, storybook, hands, home, Frankenstein, birdwatch, dream, manifest. I'm flipping fast, guys. So he gives you 50. There's one on comics, handwriting, repurposed artwork, self-portrait, 4 seasons. And then in the back, he has a little bit of some clip art that you can use if you don't have any. I don't know. Is there any of us that don't have clip art? But anyway, well, maybe some of the youngins don't. They'll have digital clip art. Some of us have old actual clip art. So yeah, so the Collage Workbook, and he does have classes. I believe Darcy has taken his class. So if y'all want to know about the class, I believe Darcy's taken it. So you could ask her about it. He offers it a couple times a year, I think. And then this last one I'm going to show you, and then we're going to go. So if y'all have any questions, get them ready. This one's called The Trickster's Hat, A Mischievous Apprenticeship in Creativity. And we did do 1 or 2 small projects out of this, but some of these projects are so in-depth and they cover multiple days or exchanging with other people, so it's not something that we could really do on stream easily. I guess if I read ahead, I could probably find some things that we could do, but it's about using creativity, and y'all know Nick Bantock. Let's see. For instance, and how many are in here? I forget how many. Let me see how many prompts are. And I've got all his books. I love his books because I love collage. He's got 7 or 8 exercises. But for instance, here's number 4. I'll just give you an example so you can kind of know what kind of stuff is in here. An editor once told me that the majority of first novels should be ditched as soon as they are completed because they will inevitably be a thinly disguised justification of one's own existence. I'm right and you were all wrong. As harsh as that is, there are probably a few grains of truth there. We all need to tell our life story once, to give our version of who and why we are, if only to feel that we have been seen and heard. But rather than spending a year or two battling with 350 pages of text, you might want to try the following pictorial autobiography. It's a way to get your version of events out of your system in under a couple of hours. So then he tells you the materials: an old black and white print, cartoons, engravings, poster board or heavyweight paper, scissors, matte medium, and a brush. Now, we all know materials, having used all these materials. So you could basically use any material you probably already have, but he's given this list of materials for people that may not have any supplies at all. That would not be anyone here. Time, 90 minutes. Size, 3 squares of 6 by 6 inches each. So then he tells you on how to do it, like matte medium or gel is the best material for gluing, and tells you a little bit about that. Then he says the instructions. The idea here is to create 3 black and white collages in a cartoon-like triptych. The first square should represent your childhood, the second your teens and youth, and the third your adulthood. I'm suggesting you restrict your palette to black and white for 2 reasons. First, because it's hard enough to tell your life story in 3 pictures without having to deal with the complexities of color balancing, and second, because black and white tends to give history authenticity, personal or otherwise. Of course, it's an insane task if you try to include all of the main events in your life. Therefore, you'll need to find elements or symbols that represent the general tone of who you were and the events that surround you. It's important not to use your real family photos or ephemera. That's too likely to enslave you to a dry history. Because you are working with found material, you will have to be flexible and inventive. Don't obsess on finding a specific image. Personally, I find it easier to avoid premeditation, working the opposite way around, looking for images that point less directly to elements of my past. Sometimes these can be quite obscure, yet they often have a way of being more poignant than any literal illustration of triumphs and disasters. Hint: I once picked up 6 old bound copies of Punch yearbooks. Punch was a humorous magazine full of elegantly drawn cartoons and line engravings, and it proved perfect for this exercise. Try your local secondhand bookstore to see what they have in the way of beaten up old illustrated magazines or annuals. In case you are wondering, as a general rule in the United States, there are fairly minimal copyright restrictions on printed materials that are more than 70 years old. So there's just a quick little one of the exercises. All right. So what I'm saying is that kind of stuff is hard to do on a stream because, you have to stop and find things and gather things. Now, if I planned it, but one of the things that he talks about in the beginning of this book is not to read ahead, to try to do it on the spur of the moment so that your creativity is sparked immediately by the idea and you run with it. And that's great if you're just sitting in your studio and you have time to go dig out your black and white images and, whatever. But when you're trying to do a live stream, it's kind of hard to do his particular type of exercises. Whereas Randall Plowman's are more quick. They're briefer, quicker, and he wants you to kind of they're meant to be that way. So, all right. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to let y'all go. It turned into like a book day again, which, But if you missed the beginning where I talked about the very big sketchbook and some of the things I've already started in it, or some of the plans that we have for later in the month and whatnot. So any questions or anything, guys? If not, I'm going to let y'all go, and thanks for being here. Have a sip of coffee. Try to have a sip of coffee without spilling it. Thanks, guys. And happy birthday again, Jane. And don't forget, I don't know if APG Jamie has stopped in and come by, but her birthday's coming up too. So y'all keep that in mind. All right, guys. Bye.